Obviously, I chose to come to the University of Leicester because I thought it had a fantastic student experience. That's at least part of the reason I came here. Compared to a lot of institutions, I think we genuinely have an opportunity here to provide a fantastic education for students. We have a great campus. It's a wonderful place for students to base themselves during the day. We have fantastic accommodation, variety of different types of accommodation, but some really high quality accommodation. But of course, the experience is much broader than just the campus. It's to do with the curriculum, and I think we've got fantastically dedicated staff really trying to develop curriculum that are right at the cutting edge of their disciplines and delivering those in a way that's very student focused, trying to make sure that the students really do get as much out of that curriculum as they can. We've got a whole series of other activities in the university so students can get involved with the Students' Union. There's all sorts of clubs and societies, all sorts of sporting activities, and I'm really keen to see as many students as possible engage with that. And then we have got a whole series of staff in professional services offering support in careers, support in welfare and a range of other areas. I think we already provide a fantastic environment for students, but of course it's important for any university to be constantly innovating, constantly thinking about how we improve things. So to take a couple of examples, we're about to launch Pathways, a new interdisciplinary approach to students who will be able to come to the university and take not just the course that they've come here to major in, but they'll be able to take from a suite of minors a whole range of different possibilities. That's really innovative curriculum design that I think is going to be very attractive to a wide range of students. Of course, some students may prefer to come and just focus on one major, and that will be fine. But for those students who want to take a bit of variety, add flexibility to what they're doing, this would be fantastic. We've got a medical degree program. They're going through a major overhaul of their curriculum. And again, it's not because the curriculum's wrong or poor. It's simply that we as an institution should be constantly evolving, constantly thinking about how we can do things better. And I'm utterly convinced that we're going to end up with curriculum across the campus which will attract goodness knows how many students who want to come and study fantastic new courses. I mean, there's always challenges for a university to think about how we improve, and of course improvement takes a lot of hard work, and we have a very dedicated staff who are trying their very best, I think, to think constantly about how we make students' life in a range of different ways better. I mean, obviously it's good for the university. If the students come here and enjoy themselves, respect the education they've had, of course that's good for us because we'll recruit more students as a result. We genuinely want students to feel like they've left the University of Leicester with a really outstanding degree, but also having had a great deal of fun, having enjoyed themselves here, having taken a really strong role in a range of different activities. The critical thing for students is how they balance all those things together, but students try hard. I'm sure they enjoy both the hard work and also the play as well. Well, the NSS, of course, is important to every university. We have to be able to demonstrate that we're providing things that students are enjoying, students respect and see value in. And constantly, as I've said already, we're trying to think about ways to improve the curriculum the whole time. We hope the students engage with the NSS. That helps us improve what we're doing. I genuinely believe, having worked in a lot of universities, that the University of Leicester gets an awful lot of things right. I think the experience here is fantastic, but we must never rest on our laurels. We can always improve. So we're always looking at where we need to improve the campus, where we need to improve the curriculum, what other support services might we be thinking about changing. So change is not a bad thing. Change is a very productive thing, and I'm sure the students value that and realise that we're really working hard with them. Critically through all of that is to make sure what we deliver is student-focused. So yes, we might redesign new curriculum and so on, but let's make sure the students have a voice in that redesign. The example of the medical school redesigning its curriculum was fantastic. They brought all of their medical students together for a whole day to talk about what might be a good way of restructuring a curriculum. That, for me, is student-focused and really is going to end up with a curriculum which isn't one that students struggle with. They're going to be fully embedded in the decisions that have been made. I think that's a fantastic way of offering a degree. Yes, we're launching a strategic conversation which is about where the university should pitch itself for the next 10 or 15 years. What is it that we should be doing differently? What sorts of things should we capitalise on and grow? How do we think about ourselves and what our reputation should be? What's our niche? Where does Leicester sit compared to all the other universities that we have to compete with? Clearly, we have a whole series of strengths that we want to build on, and we've talked about some of those relating to our reputation for really genuinely high quality teaching, widening participation and other areas where students really value what they get from the university. But we need to develop a plan which sets out our stall for the next few years. Critically, I want that to be a conversation. So of course I have ideas of things that we might want to do a little bit differently, but I also want views not only from the staff, who of course are a critical voice in that conversation, but from the students, from external stakeholders, from people who have a view about the institution from the outside. We really need to be able to shout proudly about what it is that Leicester has to offer compared to other institutions. Critically, we want the voice of students and others to be heard. So we've set up a website. There's a university website all about the strategic conversation. There you can find interesting information about what we're doing, how the process is going to work. But critically, there's an email address there. You can email in your ideas, think about the sorts of things that you think the university should be focusing on. And we really value those comments. They could be very varied. What sorts of curriculum would you like to see? Right through to, do you think we should be changing the look of the campus? These are the sorts of things that will help us shape a vision for the future, which is really going to be very exciting and ambitious.